Welcome to SerialPodcastNine.
All right, let's do the intro, and then we can talk to Chob about whatever we want. William. Old Billy Eric Chob. Wow, how did you not become Billy? I mean, it's fine, whatever.
Sounds terrible. Just kidding.
Wait, what?
Eric's not his real name.
Well, it's William's my first name.
Yeah.
And then Eric is what?
My middle name. You know how Filipino middle name, first name.
Just pick whichever name you like the best.
Yeah. I thought William was too fancy, so.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right. Let's do the intro.
I'm Gerard Peralta.
And I'm Kevin Peterson.
And I'm Ryan Benoit, and this is SerialPodcastNine, episode the one where we have a very special guest. Hey, it's very exciting, you guys. We got a guest tonight. Should we intro the guest, or is it more fun to have the guest intro themselves?
I think it's more fun when we do it and get it wrong.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like I know the guest fairly well.
The 27-year-old OnlyFans professional makes $3 million a month.
I wish.
Well, he's doing it. All right. Well, our guest tonight hails from the Windy City, made famous by the Blues Brothers, Family Matters. What year is the bowl? The 96 Bulls? Is that the one?
What year are you in, Ryan?
93 and then 95, 96, 97.
Yeah, all the years. They got it all.
You have that tattooed on you somewhere?
Repeat.
Remember, were you with us when I ate shit in front of the Michael Jordan statue?
No, I wasn't.
Mel was there, and I did that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Well, our guest tonight is Eric Chob. As most people know him, Chob.
Yeah.
Mr. Chob. What is your Instagram handle now? I don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Mr. Chob on Instagram. Perfect.
Eric
All right.
Cordero.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like giving out personal details on the podcast in case you have stalkers.
It's all right.
What do you mean?
How you doing, Chob?
Doing all right. It's getting cold.
I'd ask what the temperature is, but I don't know how to do the conversion, so it's always really embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it either. Sorry.
It's probably just above zero.
Yeah.
So what is it, like 34?
Actually, it's cold tonight. It's like 18 degrees tonight. So what is that?
It's -5.
Yeah, it's below.
A little cold tonight.
You're likely to get snow. Today was actually really warm here. I was actually wearing shorts for a bit.
Is that why you're wearing tank top right now? It's warm.
No,
I just happened to wear a tank top today. Yeah.
No.
My
Chub,
minimum clothing requirement.
Yeah. Chub, you got to know if you weren't here, they wouldn't be wearing shirts. That's the way this goes.
Hey, I'm in the comfort of my own home. Don't clothing shame me.
All right. So.
What's up, guys?
Man?
just living. Very excited to have you here. I can edit out. I just should have told you this before. I can edit out anything after if you're like, yo, we shouldn't put that in.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if
do that
we
lots
like
of times.
slip up. Yeah, all the time.
Like, we can't say that.
So you can say all sorts of racist, all sorts of like rude comments.
Because I did mean to check in with you before, and I was like, is there anything that's off limits that you don't want to talk about?
I sent it. I said, You said nothing's
You're
off
good.
limits.
Oh, wow.
Nothing's
I don't remember
okay.
doing that, but I mean, I don't.
We're good. Okay.
So how do you feel about abortions?
Oh, Jesus.
About what? Abortions? Jesus Christ.
We're really going to dive deep today.
Yeah, we're just going to come out swinging. That's really
we
great.
all had aristos.
That is
Wow.
why.
Except me, actually. Mine's fake.
Yeah. I realized that after I said it, and I was just waiting for Gerard to say it.
You know, you got some respect when Gerard doesn't correct you from having a GS2 and Aristo. But yeah, I feel like this can be the 16 appreciation episode, you know?
I like it.
We've all had 16s. But
I wanted to know if he could talk about Risky Devil.
Yeah. We can talk about it. It'll be fine.
perfect.
It was
That
like,
is
we don't
what I
know
wanted
if you just like ignore that part of your life and just pretend it never
Yeah,
existed.
I don't know.
It was a really cool part of our life, my life, you know. Sometimes people grow in different ways, right? And want different things. It's just how it goes, right? I think it's what kind of propelled my passion and the friendships that I have is because of Risky Devil, right? when did we start? Like 2007, right? We did a lot of streeting, Chicago. We went to All-Star Bash, California, 2009. And then it kind of just grew from there, right?
Yeah.
Who was the original members of Risky Devil?
Man, that's hard. It's actually a lot of people because it wasn't really a drift group in the beginning. It was kind of just everyone who's close. We all have cool cars and we're a team, right? I guess. Growing up, there were a lot of teams here in Chicago. So it was kind of meant to be that we became a team. And then eventually everybody just liked drifting and then started doing that. The original members, I'd say, would be Dave Lee. He had a Red FC. Tim, who did all of our filming, T2 Films.
Yeah.
Josh, Lee Roto. I think his brother was in it too, Al Roto. He had a Sylvia. Who else? This guy named Mark. He had a black 14 with RB. And we had AJ, of course, with the red IS.
That's where he's had that car for.
I think he's the one who had his car the longest. I don't remember who else.
I mean, there's like a fair amount of people already. Like,
Ilya?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Totally forgot.
I think, I wasn't sure. And then I was only going to say it feels kind of important on the story of telling Chob because Chob, you had an S14 at one point, which was like kind of your calling card, I feel like, for a very long time. Yeah. Before I even met you, I had seen the photos of you on Motor Maven, I believe, at All-Star Bash. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep, Antonio.
Yeah, and that's something you three all have in common. You've all been photographed by Motor Maven, which is great. Not me. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Well, you're the man behind the lens.
Yeah, that's right.
You're out there being Laredo David.
So your 14 had an SR?
It had an SR, S14 SR.
And it had staggered wheels, yeah? Like 18, 19? Or was that only after? Because I know you had MAEs or the same style wheels I had at one point.
Yeah. That was when it first came out. Oh, I guess second time it came out. Originally, it came out in gray with FN01RCs. And then I got MA Riverside's 18 by 910. And that's candy red.
Yeah.
I remember the candy red one. I don't.
Yeah. And it had like contrasting stickers. Like the stickers were also like a cool color to match the candy red. Were they just chrome or were they something?
Yeah, they were just chrome.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was just the way that it worked. But
yeah. And then eventually I went black, and that's when I did the 1819.
What wheels were they?
Schwert SC2s.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
That's like not a common wheel for people to get.
No. You know how it is. Like people were like, "Oh, why would you get that?"
Yeah. But it's like because
you didn't get Blitz 03s, dog. Like,
even when I got the MA Riversides, they were like, "What kind of wheel is that?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah, that's so sick. I remember that one too. The candy red with the MAEs.
I bought those before I got the car. I was like, I think this will fit.
Yeah. Just do whatever I got to do to make it work.
Exactly. I was a little sad because I did cut up really clean quarters to put the over fenders on, but that's how it was back then, right?
And what did you have on it for aero and wide body?
I had Origin everything. No,
was Toge factory around even back then?
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Actually, the aero was actually. You guys remember Version Select?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Version Select, and then the fenders were Origin. And it was actually a Enki with Koki conversion.
How long did you have the 14 for?
2007 to 2011.
Yeah, so it was different every year then? There's like 4 iterations of that car in 4 years?
I guess so, right? Yeah.
That's going hard.
I mean, that just feels like a Chicago thing that you guys do all the time. You're on like version 4 of your GS now, it feels like, or 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you know better than I do.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm reading your diary, Chob. What can I say?
I appreciate it.
Were you, and I don't want to gloss over this, before you got into Nissans, were you into Hondas as well?
Yeah, I had a Type R back before that 14.
Integra, obviously. Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, man, my parents were so mad when I sold a newer car for an older car, and it wouldn't even start. My dad's like, what the fuck did you do?
So when you bought it, was it already swapped and all that, or did you buy it?
Yeah, so there was this guy. It was one of the first builds that Toge Factory did. We came across it and just getting rid of it. But it was pretty much, it had a lot of stuff on it, really. I didn't really do too much, or if anything at all. Really just
made it look cool.
Yeah. It was my first drift car. It had 2871R on it already. So it was pretty quick. It made like almost 300.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So it was good. I got a lot of, I don't know if it was hate, but in the beginning I felt like people were, oh, you just bought a car and, drove it. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's not your car.
Yeah.
So
when you left Honda, I was curious, did everyone, because I know your pal Josh also was into Hondas.
Yeah.
Did you guys all kind of decide to leave and go to like rear wheel drive platforms around the same time? Was that like a conscious effort made
together as a team?
No.
Or was it like,
it was really, Josh kind of always, he had his first hatch 05, 06. And I was just been, I tried my iterations of trying to get a drift car going, but it just never worked out. But he's had rear wheel drive cars. I don't know, what was the jump? I think it was because of him. He made me drive his car one time around Navy Pier somewhere. And I was like, you know what? I got to get rid of the Honda and do this.
Hondas are fun until you want to like do something fun.
Yeah. And the theft was so high back then.
Oh, damn.
I think I knew at least 5 people who had their Honda stolen around that time. It was too much, right? It was, I didn't want it to get stolen.
Was yours white or yellow?
Black, actually.
Oh, you had the black. Damn.
The guy who I sold it to still has it looking the same today.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I feel like I did it right?
Did you do the front end or did you just leave the fourth?
I left the fourth. So I ended up building the motor back then instead of doing the front end.
Yeah.
It was like a June. You guys remember June Auto?
Yeah, hell yeah.
It was a full June Auto head package, ISCO cams, and then it revved to like 95.
What Honda?
Question. I don't
Had
remember.
you been Honda back then?
It was something.
Dude, the Judd VTEC cams.
Oh my god.
Had the biggest step into VTEC.
Yeah.
It was fully like it was like fully like 2 different engines. Like it was so crazy.
I think I did like a 4.7 back then.
Oh yeah. I always had that. Yeah, 4.7 with like an ATS final drive or a ATS like LSD or something.
Yeah. It was a good time.
So sick.
So I would just race people in 5th gear and hit VTEC in 5th gear.
Yeah. I topped out at like 170 or something, but it was super quick. It felt like you're driving in like an F1 car. Like, dude, I've driven that car. It's sick.
Oh, I loved it. And it had a Buddy Club Spec 2 back then, so it was the loudest thing.
Yeah. All you needed was like good suspension and like R compounds, and the car was just like basically like a race car on the street.
Yeah. I love that though. Okay. I wish I could drive. I had a dream that I had it the other day.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Hey, I had a dream that we were doing this podcast with you, but then Jordan Hall was here for some reason. I had no idea why. Very strange.
I miss that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty great. Also, the reason you and I met, so that's great.
No, I was saying the whole story was funny.
Oh, yeah. It is a great story where I thought I was going to Chicago to stay with drug dealers, and I got there, and Chob had no hot water because his roommate forgot to pay the bill. So
in the trap house or what?
Yeah.
So we would go outside in the morning because it was like very warm.
Yeah.
There. And get like, it's so hot, and then you turn the shower on and then run in and be like, have a 1.5-minute shower after you were outside sweating. It was a great time though. I really liked that. A very great trip is what that was. And that was actually brings me to the next point. Pretty close to around when you first got the GS, right? Like that was.
Was it so you could be like Ryan or what?
Yeah.
I remember we were driving there and Eric Zapata was like, we're going to stay with Chob. You'll get along. He has a GS with a 2J in it as well. And I was like, yo, okay. But what made you go from the S14 to GS? Like what called you in that direction?
You guys remember the video of the black Aristo? I forgot what track that is in Japan, but it's on.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
AVST.
It was like a school course almost. Yeah, and he just like shredded through like 3 times, and you're just like, yo, what the hell? Yeah, I remember that video exactly.
I'm pretty sure that's the one video that kind of like, I need to do that.
To me, it was that white one. I like.
Say? There's that one.
That's the like 1,000 horsepower like white one. It's got like a tan interior, and he like just comes out of like the last corner onto the straight and just like obliterates the entire straight, just doing a huge rolling burnout the whole time. I'm just like,
and then the judges' faces were just like this.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
The thing about the black one, though, the black one was stylish. Like, it was stylish. Low. Yeah. It was like really. That one was like the first time I was like, yo, that can look like that.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
And his driving was cool too, right?
Yeah, his driving was pretty good too, for sure. That was the main switch.
Yeah, those two videos. And I always wanted a JZX, but back then it just seemed unattainable.
It was like the closest thing.
Yeah. And I wasn't really an IS person. I wanted something bigger.
For sure.
In my mind, the JZX, because I've never seen one. In my mind, the JZX was huge, right? It was either between that and the LS400, and I thought the LS400 would be a little too big. So
that's good. Yeah, the GS is a good choice.
That's the Goldilocks car.
Yeah, Goldilocks.
It's not the IS. It's not the LS.
Just right.
My aunt has one. Just the same. Still today. I think it's one of those special edition ones.
Right. Yeah, it's like a.
So when you needed a resale, you got one in the family already.
Yeah. Actually, I always tell her, I'm like, you need to sell me this whenever you're ready. It's super clean. It's got 50,000 miles on it.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. She never drives it.
And correct me if I'm wrong. You took possession of the car. It was already had the engine and the transmission in it.
Nope. Automatic.
Automatic. Right. Automatic. Okay. So how about you run us through
automatic too, JZ? Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Run us through the journey of Chob sells a drift car. This silver GS shows up with a 2J in it, automatic.
Yeah.
What does it take for you to get?
So the car came from Florida.
Whoa.
Came from Florida, ended up in mutual friend hands, and then for some reason he wanted to sell it. It was the coolest thing that I ever seen. It had a 2J in it already. It had it had G35 wheels on it and single turbo, automatic, but it was cool. It was super clean. I don't know. It just seemed really cool. The only thing that was different is it's non-VVTi, right?
Oh, you have a non-VVTi engine in there?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Non-VVTi.
That's exactly the same car as Paulo's. Paulo used to have that. Or he still has that, actually. That's super funny. He still has that ar.
That car's non-VVTi as well?
Yeah. And it's funny because it's actually difficult to put that engine in that car because the engine mounts don't fit.
Yeah.
You have to make engine mounts for it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, man. Dude, and then the wiring that it had, it's... I don't know what they did, but they had the OEM ECU, the wiring, and somehow piggybacked the Aristo ECU in there to get it all whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bitch, man.
So you get the car, shows up from Florida.
Yeah.
Did it go directly to RCN, or did you just...
I drove it around for a little bit. I put coils in it. I had some leftover wheels. LA gave me his work VS SS. Is that the 5-spoke or 6-spoke?
Yeah, they're like skinny 5-spoke. Yeah.
So I ran that for a while. It was like a mismatch situation. Drove it around automatic.
Yeah.
I think it took over a year and a half or 2 years before it became manual, just because there was no info out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then
pretty hilarious with like a single turbo and automatic. They're pretty cool.
Yeah,
big downshift to like the huge drop.
Yeah, a huge surge.
Yeah. People were surprised to see or hear, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing we did was put a straight pipe in it. RT did that at RCN. Sure. But yeah, once we took the trans out to start doing the manual swap, it took a little bit. Do the research, all the different parts and what we could use. Actually, we just tried a bunch of things because there's no manuals out there, YouTube videos.
There's no step-by-step guide.
Yeah.
There's no ultimate CD 009 swap guide.
There's no 45-minute video, yeah.
Dude, every time I see all that stuff now, I'm like, I wish all this was available back then.
Forums, yeah.
I feel like a select few had to go ahead and pave the way for everybody else to want to do it, and I feel like two of those people are on this call right now, and it's not me or Kevin. So yeah, I think there was definitely some people out there that were probably ahead of their time with the chassis, and yeah. So, and you have the R154 in there, is that right? Yeah.
I got that thing for like $300.
That's how much they were back then, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember buying and selling them for like $300 to $500 too.
Yeah, $300, and then all we did was a Marlin crawler thrust washer. It's the one that goes between first and second, I think.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I just remember getting the JZ80 pedal set.
Cool. I mean, it might have worked better in your car than in my car. I had a JZ80 pedal in mine as well, and it was like the worst pedal in the entire world to fit an Aristo. It was just like I had to like butcher it to go over, and it was so bad. And even the pedal in the end, the pedals were all like this. It's just it's funny we have all versions of transmissions and Aristos and GSs here. You have a W, he has an R, I had a CD and a V160 at one point, but yeah, we've got the whole thing covered. The only thing we're missing is the Tremec.
The Tremec.
Yeah. I only ever had the stock transmission because my Aristo history is very, very short.
Yeah, a couple of burnouts in an automatic one.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, that car was so fun. I probably did more burnouts in that car than just for no reason too. And I'd also go sit in the air conditioning. That car had really nice AC and it was hot in the summer, so I'd just go sit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had cloth seats, so they weren't hot.
Yeah, the cloth seats are bomb, man.
Yeah.
That's great. Chob, you got the like little DVD screen on yours, right? Because I remember passing you on the way to Club FR the first year we went, and you and your now wife were watching like Aladdin or something.
No. So Ilya was in the car, and it was an old school Alpine. It was like one of the first ones that came out. You know how like you have the head unit in the front, and then you have the brain in the back, right?
Yeah.
We were actually watching Hancock.
Okay.
Yeah.
The what? What's Hancock?
Hancock was this movie about Will Smith being this pseudo hero with superpowers.
He's got superpowers, but he's not a good guy.
Yeah. Where he becomes
it's like he's an alien and then he meets his soulmate that's also an alien. It's like Superman in reality, but not really.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty bad.
I just remember, so we had just finished the manual swap and we didn't have time to do the center console at all. That didn't come till later, right? Because had to make that from nothing. We had like one of those, like, for the lack of a better word, those Mexican blankets that you get from the store.
Yeah.
And I would put that in the middle, and then we had a bunch of snacks on the transom. We had like M&Ms, we had popcorn, we had whatever. Watch the movie on the way to Club FR Jam with these guys.
Snack food sound deadening.
That's amazing. Was that the first time you drifted the car? Or when was the first time you like actually drifted that car?
The first time I drifted the car, I think it was almost a year in by the time we did that event.
How was that first drift event in the GS?
It was terrible.
I think we can all agree that drifting a GS, like in its like mostly stock-ish form, is fucking terrible.
That's why I want to hear these young kids today. They're like, oh man, the GS is the best first drift car that, I'm like, this thing was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could argue a point for that. You know what I mean? It's like you start out with something bad and you get something good, and all of a sudden it's way easier, Yeah. But like, and maybe the Aristo could be worse than the GS because it has the ARS.
Yeah, it's true.
But
I was saving this narrative for later on because I was going to say when we left, man, was that Final Bout Gallery, Chob? You were like almost thinking about you were seriously considering buying a Seat Time S chassis because you're like, you were very frustrated with like the GS at that point. And I do remember that. And I didn't want to see that happen. I just wanted you to keep driving that car.
At one point I hated it. And I was just like, I was like, what did I do? I went from a car that's easy to drive to a car that I had to think. Even to this day, sometimes like I really do have to focus on, driving.
The one word to describe that car the best in my world is clumsy. Like it just, I remember the first time taking it out. Even I had auto, but I had like a handbrake in it and stuff. And I was like, okay, easy, whatever. Just stick it in first. Like I've had lots of automatics. You just drive it, stick it in first, go slide around in the fucking rain in cul-de-sac or something. You know,
like
you
every
might hit
Cressida
second.
except your like drift car builds like was probably an auto. No.
Yeah, exactly. Like every single Cressida drifts beautifully. It's literally just like let go of the wheel, huck it around.
Yeah.
But the Aristo was just like it was like drifting with two left feet. Like it was so terrible.
I just remember my hands being terrible. What is this?
The steering is so slow in Toyotas.
Yeah. I think it's finally at a point where I'm okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys won the last Final Bout, so congratulations to that. You did it.
Yeah. You're missing the trophy. Usually sits right here, but
good.
Just home this time for sharing it.
That's really nice. I guess, and sorry, Kevin. Kevin, you can try to answer this, but if not, it's fine. Gerard and Chob, what did it take? We'll start with Chob and then Gerard can answer. But what did it take for you to get the GS or the Aristo to a point where it was like actually good to drive?
So I think the biggest issue.
So this is the point where you just plug all the SerialNine parts, by the way.
Yeah. Seriously though, I mean, my car hasn't been better since as soon as all the SerialNine parts came, it kind of tied everything in, right? But back then, I don't think you guys, when I first got it, you guys weren't making anything yet for it, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of took a different approach because I got the S14 as a whole, right? The only thing, I did add a few things. It was arms. That's what I added to the S14. So I took a different approach with the GS, and I decided to do things one by one. I didn't have any arms when I started. And then I think as soon as you guys started releasing products for it, I started adding it to all that. I think the biggest change though was the subframe and diff bushings that you guys did. Those were huge.
Yeah, the subframe on those cars just moves like so much, and once you get the subframe bushings in, like you can actually steer the car and like it goes sort of where you want it to go. Yeah,
that was I think the biggest improvement back then because we used to do this track in Michigan. It's called Gingerman, and I mean I was nowhere near good back then, but I was doing like 85, 80 mile an hour entries there. And I could just feel the rear end like shifting as I'm ready. And it sucked. And then putting those bushings in, I'm like, that's what I've been missing. That's all I needed. And then it just got better and better as you guys added products, the lower control arm, the Rukas, the cast, everything, right? And it kind of just tied it all in together.
Do you feel like there was a power number you had to get to on the car to make a difference?
Honestly, if it was stock twins, I probably would have left it. But because it was already a single, I kind of just... Actually, when we went to go dyno it, we looked at the turbo and it was blown. So I had to buy a new turbo back then. First turbo that I ended up doing was a Precision 6262.
That's a good turbo for that thing.
Yeah, right. Let me ask this: when you guys put clutches in yours in the trans, did you guys have any issue? Like, what was your first clutch that you guys used?
I had a V160 with an HKS GD Pro.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I had an Exity. I had an Exity twin metallic, and it was the worst thing I've ever owned.
Really?
Yeah.
With an R54? What was wrong with it?
I don't know what it was, but it was terrible. It was really an on and off switch, and it was just the worst thing to drive.
Oh, that sounds crazy. I mean, it depends because Kevin used to have that clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people I knew had it, so I thought I would go with it. I don't know.
I thought it drove pretty well. I was impressed, but I know that maybe you got it before. Like, did you get it from like Exity Japan?
I think so.
Because I know that so Exity came to North America. And as most Japanese companies do, they sort of like change the product a little bit. And I know that one of the things that they might have done was increase drivability, because when they started having all the instructions like in English and shit, and then also they had Exity USA. Yeah, I think the product was maybe a little bit more suited to like they're like, hey, we got to make this thing fucking drivable. or people are going to think it absolutely sucks.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, back in the day, getting clutches from like ORC, OSKeekin, like all the OSs I've had prior to us carrying OS, now that, there's OS USA, were just absolutely fucking horrible. I've driven OSs and I wouldn't drive them before because Eric Wayfarers had one in his JZX161, and it was so unbelievably stiff and so unbelievably like light switch. And it was, you'd go drive around. I mean, I didn't drive it. I've driven it a few times, but he would have like blisters on the bottom of his feet by the end of the night.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I had in my X7, I had a OS and a ORC, and then when I did like the 1.5 build with the Borg Warner, then I had the Exetti, but I didn't drive that setup too much. But
on the
like
street,
on the, it was still totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Hey, Chob.
Yo.
What's your favorite part you have on your car?
Blue Noise license plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what hot rodders think when they see that shit.
The Moon Eye stuff?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm actually here to talk about. What do hot rodders think now when like all the import kids show up and like are wearing Moon Eyes? Fuck, I don't know.
The hot rodders here, at least in my area, they don't know what Moon Eyes is.
That's basically what I was gonna say too. It's like, unless you were into like salt flat racing in the 50s and 60s, then you're probably not super familiar with it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Moon Eyes? I'm like, what do you mean what's Moon Eyes? You know what Moon Eyes is?
Oh, you like cars?
I have those caps for my truck that I lowered. I have those Moon Eyes caps.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are those things? I'm like, Moon Eyes? Never heard? No?
I don't know. I don't think a lot would actually, to be fair. I generally think that sometimes when I wear Moon Eye stuff and I go to a place with like boomers, they'll be like, yo, respect. But they don't don't care. Yeah, they don't give a shit.
What's the American I can't even think. There's like this American catalog that people order.
Summit.
Here you go. Summit. I gotta wear a Summit shirt.
Then they'll know what I'm about.
It
is weird that
Heartbeat
like
of America jacket.
Yeah, I was at a store and I was telling Kevin this. It was a big department store, and they had like fake NASCAR T-shirts.
Yeah.
And then they had like a white tee with the GTR emblem over the the chest.
Yeah.
And then like an R34 on the back, and I'm like, what the? Why is this in like this department? And apparently kids are wearing it. Blows my mind. I don't fully understand it, but like you go NASCAR, R34 GTR right next to each other, and it's like, Jesus.
Would you ever thought you'd see that growing up?
No.
Yeah.
But I never thought I'd live to be this old, Chob. No, I don't know.
I was like listening to Spotify the other day, and like how like some of the songs have like a 20-second video that just loops.
Yeah.
It was just all like drift cars.
Crazy, man.
Just like the whole time, and I'm just like, I'm like, wow, this is
what
cool.
Was the song though?
I don't know. It wasn't like Xavier Wolf or something.
Xavier Wolf or whatever his name is.
Yeah, it wasn't that, but
it was Taylor Swift's Folklore.
Party
no, I don't know.
Was it?
That's Miley Cyrus.
Was it you that posted Paul's Corolla on whatever that?
Benson found it, and then it was Benson finds Paul's Corolla, messages Paul. Paul tells me my photo's on a shirt. Turns out it's not my photo; it's another buddy's photo. But the long and short of that is, looked into legal action, and then you very quickly realize that if you're a nobody, it's very hard.
Oh, really?
You got to get a lawyer. You got to copyright it, which is inexpensive, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But then you got to get a lawyer to be like, hey, man, you can't do that. And then the lawyers that are going to fight for you want to make sure that they get paid. So they need like retainers and stuff. You kind of got to know, like, do you think that brand's going to cave and give us money? Like, am I going to pay off my investment? Or if they push it out, like, they could outweight you. And that was very much what that looked like. Whereas like, and the guy was like, no, I can't even. Like,
they just dissolve the company and open it under another name and just steal a bunch of other people's designs and like.
Yeah, it's wild though. Like, it's hilarious because the banner on Paul's car at that time isn't Dynasty. It is like Drift West. So it's like it's not the Western Canadian drift series banner on it. It's just like the weirdest. It'd be like someone being like, I'm going to steal this photo of this old car. And then it's like the banner says Club FR. And you're like, well, that was taken like 3 years ago, you dumb fuck.
Club FR.
Club FR. The maker
funny.
of all things great.
Didn't say Tim Hortons, huh?
That was a good forum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
No
you guys
Tim Hortons.
new one that Max made?
Which one?
I'll send you guys a link. Max made a new drift forum. Forgot what it's called. Drift.
Oh yeah, Kevin, you saw that.
Did I?
I know Kevin did. Yeah, because I went to go like it and said you had already liked it. The
Okay.
Instagram thing, right? Where it's like they share all the facts about cars. Is that what we're talking about?
No, it's something. It's an actual forum.
It was a forum.
Yeah, it's an actual forum. I'll send you guys a link after.
Okay, ship it over.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate that. Now that we're back and we had the fun story about the Moon Eyes license plate, which is great. Chob, what is your favorite part on your car?
Honestly, so I was telling Ryan this, that I think the one that really revolutionized my mindset of driving, especially with, I mean, you guys have seen how Final Bout has progressed over the years, right? From Final Bout 1 to kind of now, where Final Bout 1, everyone's spaced out, it's clean, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, as things progress, everyone tries to get closer, right? And I think that has been my biggest, not setback, but my biggest hurdle to jump. And the Hydra, man, it really revolutionized my confidence with being able to check myself with the team, drive closer with everybody.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Rain Hydra, yeah.
Yeah, probably one of the one thing that'll make the improvement is when I can get that lock on there, so I can park it with the Hydra.
So you could park it, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the next one, man.
But I mean, that one
Do you have a parking brake right now?
with the parking brake.
No,
You
I took it out.
Fully have the parking brake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can fully have the parking brake still. You
Yeah.
just ditched it.
I took it out. Area
Look at
where
you
my-
bum.
Because yeah, did you
also
have a
made-
handle or some shit?
Yeah, I had a handle. I had an S14 handle actually,
Oh,
and that came out so I could fit the Rain in there.
okay. My
Like,
Arista never
I-
had anything either.
When we went out to the city, you turned your wheel until the car stopped.
Yeah. Welded diff and
Welded diff,
an angle
Oh,
kit.
that's right. I was like, how come it doesn't work in my car?
You should make a Chob edition of the Hydro that has a lock on it. So you know, it's like
It's
the
coming.
Chob is
It's coming.
perfect.
Yeah.
We already made it.
You guys released it. But yeah, seriously, that has revolutionized. I think you guys, you know how it is. It's so heavy, right? And
Yep.
you really have to check a lot of times.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really hard. I found with that car, like the biggest thing, like I'm so excited to get in the JZX because like all the time in that car, it felt like you needed a lot driving, or like you needed to really drive. Like you needed to rein in a lot of like aspects of the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's when you kick it out, it's like really heavy this way. When you need to accelerate, it's like really hard to get it going. When you need to slow it down, it's like really hard to rein it in. And it's like, you know, when it transitions, it's just like, it was like a fucking lot of car. But when you get it right, it's really, really satisfying.
Sounds like riding a bull.
It is absolutely, and it is absolutely like riding a bull, and that's why it's so satisfying when you get it right. Because I assume, like, you know, drifting an S chassis or a car that is, you know, more, what's the word?
Suited, maybe. I guess.
Huh? Yeah, suited, or just more like
Composed,
proficient at drifting. You know what I mean? It's like you do 50% of the work and get more reward, right? But like it's like you're really working for that little, like for you to get the win and to be close to those cars in the GS is actually very it's like a big deal. And I mean, not a lot of people really maybe know how hard that actually is.
Yeah. It was very, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I cried when we won, man, because it was just
That's cool.
10 years in the making, right? I felt like I was the weak link, right? Because of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of all finally clicked this last event, right? This last Final Bout. And, you know, in my mind, when I watched that video of the black one on the AVS, you know, I never thought in my mind that I would try and drive like this. I thought I would just be school course having fun all the time. But when you have teammates who are really good, it kind of changes the dynamic of everything, right?
Yeah. It's good to drive with people or to do anything with people that are better than you.
Yeah.
And to Gerard's point, you do have now, for sure, now that Lee's not in the Supra anymore, you probably do have the hardest car to drift out of everyone. But not to take anything away from the other guys. I get it. But
What I realized at this last Final Bout, because, Gerard, you were talking about how you kind of have to rein everything in. You think about a lot of things. I realized that I don't breathe during the run.
There you go.
Why am I so tired at the end of every run? It's because
I'm holding your breath the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time.
That's a long lap, too.
It's a long lap.
You gotta be taking some yoga classes there, buddy, and focus on your breathing.
I feel like I'm just like screaming and yelling in the car all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even in a regular day, you are, Kevin. That's just you driving.
In a regular car,
Yeah.
So when we were at Gallery, when I was stoked to drive with you, your car broke, right? Something happened with the wheel studs.
The turbo problem or something, wasn't it? That's where the turbo studs broke. The whole turbo was loose.
I drove with you once, and I was like, fuck, man. I came all the way from Canada. It's like stoked to drive with this guy.
I'm trying to remember what happened.
It wasn't axles, because axles was after.
Yeah.
You put those AutoZone axles there or whatever, and I was like, don't do that, man.
Yeah, I learned the hard way. Yeah,
I swear it was wheel studs or something like that, because
I swear it was turbo studs. Like, it's where the turbo came off. Like, it was full. Like,
I don't remember that.
Like, I came over, you just lifted up the turbo. You're like, yeah, this is my problem. I swear.
I mean, that would have been an easy fix. This is fucking bold.
I'm trying to remember. Gallery, is that when Tomoya and them were there?
Yeah.
Oh, I broke an axle, but I thought I blew the trans.
That's what it is. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was the event I flew to Chicago and then hung out. I drove down with you.
That's right.
And then I didn't see you all weekend, and then I drove back to Chicago with you. That's when what's his face had heat stroke, and I was like coming to talk to you, and you're like, don't come over here, he's got heat stroke. I was like, I was just coming to talk to you, Chob. I don't know that guy.
I remember that. Yeah.
I'm not friends with him.
I remember riding in your car for Gallery, and I remember it being really fast.
Oh, sick. Yeah. That's cool. I don't even remember the road in the car. That's awesome. At least you got that.
When you snapped it back at Super D layout, I think I hit my chest on something, and I was like, I was like, oh.
That was fun. The funnest was coming out of that hairpin and then going up the thing, and I'd grab third and just be like, wow, like that was so sick.
That's good. Hope you guys come back again.
Yeah.
We'd like to this year.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I have a JZX with that same drivetrain.
Yep.
Shit, there was something I was gonna say before. I think what I was gonna say is like I remember before I crashed, I really started to get comfortable with the car. And then the car actually is doing kind of what you want it. And then you can actually slow down and sort of just like chill.
Yeah.
And you're not like always frantically trying to I said, reel all those things in. Once you kind of like can be in that space of calm driving.
Yeah.
It's funny because I have that one video of when I first drifted the Aristo in the rain there at Mission, Kevin. And it looks like I'm not really doing anything. I'm just like grabbing the wheel and my arm's on the armrest and I'm grabbing the e-brake. And it looks so easy, but I'm like, I can't drive the car like that all the time. Like it just, because it was raining, I guess it was like
easier.
I don't know.
Is where it really makes it easy to drive.
Yeah.
Jerry, what did it take for you to get the Aristo to a point that you liked driving it?
It wasn't one thing. It was a plethora of things.
It was everything all at once.
Like it was incremental improvements, but they were definitely I can name off the 5 most important things. One was obviously all the bushings. I would say the bushings and the arms as one, because basically getting rid of the factory sort of like Aristo or GS-ness of it was a big deal. The XR3s, like the 3-way coilovers, were like a huge game changer. It literally made the car feel 500 pounds lighter.
Okay.
The angle kit was a big one. And then the 600 horsepower was a big one.
And then all that fucking horsepower.
Well, then
sprinkled that on top of everything.
But the best part though is when you had our compounds with all that together.
Yeah.
The only thing actually that mattered was if I could drive that well. But when I got that part good, the car was amazing. I was like, fuck, it's finally amazing. Because I drove that exact same setup with like 275 like shitty tires, and it was the fucking worst, man. It was just like the thing just kept sliding. It's still 3,700 pounds, no matter how you slice it, right? So it's.
I mean, I feel like even in the Altezza, I sort of like learned that in the last only like 18 months. It was like, oh wow, like with a good tire, you can actually flick the car hard and not spin out, and you're not just constantly skating. Like there's like you can overpower the tire and actually drift, but you're not always over driving the tire, you know?
The tire,
yeah.
I'm actually running 285s now.
Nice. What tire?
Tire Streets, the Accelerator 651s.
Oh, okay.
They run a little bit smaller than normal, but it works really well.
Yeah, and what's the tread wear on that?
200 or 300.
Yeah, that's a good setup. That's a good tire for that car for sure.
And honestly, the 285 because it fills the fender a little bit better.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Gotta have that. Very important. The importance of it.
Actually, I ran 285s the other day when we went to Street. I don't know if you guys saw the Sun Kang thing that we did.
I saw you were with, but I didn't know what happened.
So he's doing. We'll talk about it. I don't think you have to edit it out, but he's doing a show called The Ride Life. It's kind of like him traveling to different places and interviewing people about their car life and whatnot.
Oh, that's sick.
And the episode was about, Burst Speed Mike, the R32 and the Miata. So it's about him, and then he invites us out to go street, and then we show some street stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
it was cool, but it was really cold. It had just snowed the other day. For some reason, they cleaned the streets that day, and there was ice patches. So
damn.
It was like 30 degrees and ice and water and everywhere. But it was cool. It was a good time. So I hope we get to see something that comes from it, whoever, cool. Right?
Yeah. Turns out he doesn't have a TV show. He just wants to go hang out with people and make them do cool stuff in case they'll be on TV.
He reminds me of Gerard. They're really tall. He's really tall.
Holy shit. I didn't know he was tall. He's crazy. Tall.
That's great. Gerard, that means you could be in the Fast and the Furious because you love the Fast and the Furious movies.
And you're tall.
And you're tall. And it's the only movie that you watch that you have a understanding of pop culture about, which I appreciate.
Oh, God.
Hey, okay. Jerry, you could probably answer this as well, but Chob, because you're still with the chassis, and I feel like you've done very well with the JZS. You've been in magazines, which is like we said, you've won Final Bout, with your team and all that stuff. From the beginning to now, what have you seen from people around you? Has it? God damn it, Kevin! I can hear you eating your cheese.
I haven't even.
I can hear you crinkling the bag.
I was just so bored with you taking 15 hours to answer.
Oh, shut up! Just mute yourself and eat your cheesies, you dummy. Try to ask a real question and I get shit on by fucking Cheetos over there.
Dude, this isn't hard-hitting fucking journalism here.
It is too. It could be. Gerard sent me a message about another podcast today, and now I feel like we got to be hard-hitting. From when you started,
you just sent me the podcast too. Didn't say anything about it. I was like, okay, what am I supposed to take from this?
Yeah, I did ask Gerard if he listened to the podcast.
60,000 followers.
Yeah, but then I was like, Gerard, do you listen to the podcast? You're like, not yet. And I was like, well, then it's not what matters.
I've never seen it before. But no, the reason why it caught me is because it was RK Tunes on it, and he's like, yo, the best BMW motor is the S55, and I was like, if he says it, I believe it. That dude's crazy. RK Tunes is crazy.
Arcade.
We'll leave that. Let's leave that for our Arcade Tunes episode. I mean, Chob does have a BMW that we could talk about, but
yeah, exactly. He has the exact. This is exactly the demographic that I was like, yo, this is
okay. Fine. We'll get to that. Just hold on. We got time. Chob's here. We're wasting time.
No.
Okay.
It's fine.
I want to know from when you started to where you are now, and how have you seen the platform shift amongst other enthusiasts and drivers? Like,
there's definitely a large uptick, I'd say. But the one difference between us and them is a lot of them are starting NA2J these days, and I feel like the car doesn't do anything well under 500 wheel, right? Mm-hmm. And makes it that much more difficult and whatnot. But all these kids are doing it. They're having fun with NA2J. It probably makes like 60 horsepower, right? And
exactly.
They're having fun with it, and I'm glad to see it because I don't think I would have had that mindset back then, right? I probably would have thrown the car away.
What do you think tipped the scales? Because like I do remember a time people would, in the early days when they looked at the rest of your team, sometimes people would gloss over your car because maybe they didn't understand it. But what do you think tipped the scales?
I want to say people like you guys, right? SerialNine and everyone else who make parts for the chassis, right? Back then, when we all started, there was nothing unless you went IKEA Formula or Nagisa or all those crazy companies, right?
Yeah.
And you guys open up that door to the general public of being able to afford these parts and attain them, and also have the knowledge of what's needed to make the car drive better, right? Mm-hmm. I want to say it was because of you guys that the popularity grew, the cars got cheaper, knowledge became greater as far as, I feel like manual swaps are so easy these days for the cars, right? Like,
there's a few people jumping on too to like make them easier, like Heat Lightning makes the pedals and all that shit, so that's like cool.
But I just think also, like as time goes on, like you said, there's more documentation, like you've seen more, kids are probably still being inspired by those videos that inspired us, along with all of the content that you guys have created in that time and since that time, mm-hmm. And then it's just way easier because everything's documented now too. Like it's like literally you could know how to do every single thing to a car before you get it.
And I think a lot of people do that too.
YouTube University too, right? We didn't have
exactly
growing up at all.
We had Forum University. Which is like being part of a frat, there's a lot of hazing and like
basically.
I remember putting in, so the R154 doesn't fit, right, properly. Yeah. I remember back in the tunnel, and I think we still have to put in the trans upside down and then spin it right side up to get it to fit. Yeah. But that's something we had to figure out.
That's crazy.
You need to hammer that tunnel more.
It works now, we're okay.
Yeah, I know.
You're out there.
Yeah, I think just revolution of time and knowledge just open up the doors for everybody.
Cars not being $40,000 anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably is one of the NA version. The GS is probably a cheaper thing to get into than an S chassis now and everything else. So it kind of probably does make a little bit of sense. Doesn't hurt that Hurt is out there also driving the chassis occasionally. What's your favorite track you've ever driven?
In the GS or just in general?
In general.
I would say the most surreal would be Nikko circuit in Japan.
Oh, right.
Right? I think watching the Inose Aristo do the whole straight in one shot was kind of burned in my mind. Plus all the other D1 specials that were there, driving that place, which it's a lot easier than I had thought. But I think
driving Nikko was easy?
Yeah. Tomoya's the one who took us. Tomoya and Sexy Nights took us to this one drift day, and it ended up being a competition day with Hibino. Hibino's group. I forgot what group. Black Hat or Yellow Hat or something. Anyway, it was a competition day, and I think there were 20-some drivers, and then a bunch of us that came from the U.S., right? And I was lucky enough to take 6th place at the competition. So it was
that's pretty sick.
In a car that I've never driven before.
Yeah, that's dope.
It was a 180 with weird knuckles.
Well, that's what happens when you drive a fucking GS, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's that secret advantage.
Yeah, you've honed your skill.
Yeah, but it was cool, man. Just being there was really cool. And then we went to Ebis a few days later to do that. That was cool too.
Cool.
I thought you were just going to give me the old roller coaster of love answer. And so I appreciate that you gave me overseas, something that I've never seen before. Just
home track advantage, buddy.
Humble brag from a boy shop. No, I'm joking.
Every car guy, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have your car and everyone's like, yo, it's so sick. But there's something, I know there's like things about your car that you don't like, you know?
Yeah.
Or that like bother you that you'd like to change or do differently, or like you're like, if I go back I wouldn't have done that. Like,
yeah, okay.
I definitely want to clean up the engine bay. You know how the Arista looks. It's just so much stuff going
wires and boxes.
Yeah, most of mine was gone. I got rid of like all the ABS stuff. I got rid of it was all gone, but still I do know what you mean. Like, even after I cleaned it up the first time, I was like, okay, like I'm definitely gonna go through this one day and like just get rid of everything.
Yeah.
Does anyone make like a cool kit for that? Is that out there yet? Does that exist?
No.
Do we need to get on Chase Bays? Be like, yo, no, I don't know how that works. I don't know how any of that works.
We make a cool titanium hardware dress-up bolt kit.
Yeah. We make a dress-up kit.
Need to get that.
That'll do that. Engine bay. Noted. So next time I see you, if your engine bay ain't cleaned up, no, I don't care. Do whatever brings you joy.
I'm hoping so.
How long do you plan to stick with that chassis? Or like, do you got your eyes set on something else? Is there something secret in the works for Chob?
No, I think Final Bout 6 kind of solidified that the place for that car.
Is it a forever car for you?
Yeah, I think it finally proved to me that I can be, I don't know if the right word's competitive, but I can be
proficient.
Proficient was what I was going to say as well. That's a good word.
Yeah.
And that's great. Proficient's a great place.
It's like better than good enough. It's like it's like you can do the job, you know?
I can jump on people's doors now, which is honestly, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but people who drive the GS that might be listening to this, I think they might know how what that means, right? To be able to put a 3,700 pound car on somebody's door without destroying them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw, but I hit Josh.
I know. I saw the stories and I'm back and forth. I know you hit Josh.
I thought I told him.
Was he okay with that?
Yeah, he was cool. I thought
he got a trophy.
It's funny because I was in the front and I still hit him, then he was behind me.
How that happened?
Solid play.
It was hard. I felt really bad, but it was cool.
How does that even happen though? So
near the end, he was like, all right, your car's a little too fast. You need to start left foot braking at the exit, right? So every run kept left foot brake. Every run kept left foot brake. But we kept getting more and more hype. And they kept getting deeper and deeper out. And one of the last runs, I dipped 2 wheels out while left foot braking. And I forgot to let off. So I was in the front, and then it just slipped and threw me right into his door.
Oh, shit.
Crazy.
And I have a bash bar there right underneath my headlight. So it took out my headlight, but my bash bar took his door had to be pulled a little bit, the whole area. Bristol's heavy, 180 is very thin.
And light, yeah.
That is just the cost of doing business, I think, is what people might say. You know, you want to win a trophy, you got to do that business.
Sometimes you got to sprinkle some doors.
So you're not looking at a 100 because, like you said at the beginning, the 100 is kind of what inspired you.
Yeah.
Not in that. You're not in there. Hey, you're not peeking around corners, seeing if you can see it.
Yeah, I think there's something satisfying about being able to tame a large animal.
Ride the bull. Ride the bull. All right. Okay, well,
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that, like, rotary Aristo?
The fucking Australian or New Zealand
Australian guy?
Yeah.
What was his name?
He has another crazy car now.
I believe his name was Mad Mike's friend. No, I
Sorry. I don't know. Don't disrespect or anything like that, but it was just another car. I don't know.
It was just too high. It was just really high.
Well, it just also like completely looked stock. It just had, I mean, it was nuts.
Yeah.
absolutely
look
bonkers.
Like
but yeah,
it didn't look at all exciting.
no.
Yeah, and I don't mean any disrespect by that, but it was just another car. Nothing looked up to or anything. It was cool that it had a rotary and that it was drifting, but
That thing looks so fast.
way more
like it didn't look like any other.
Yeah.
All the other Japanese Aristo videos, like those look like like
Yeah.
big boaty cars, but that thing like looked like light somehow. But
Yeah, you're right. That it probably had like 1,300 horsepower or something like that.
Yeah,
and like 315s or something. Like
Yeah.
It was
But it was cool,
Yeah.
right? It's one of those things that passes through in time, and you're like, oh, that was cool.
It's cool,
Right?
but it
Yeah.
also feels a little bit like make believe, like because it's so far gone from
Yeah.
the
It almost
idea of,
Commercial, right? Feels commercial.
and that's fine. It probably did
Yeah.
what it needed to do, and I'm not mad about it. But yeah, no.
No.
It's not, and it doesn't make me feel a certain way about the chassis because it doesn't feel like the chassis anymore.
No.
Chob, what do you got planned for next year? What's on the logs? What's on the agenda?
Obviously, we're gonna try and defend the title, right?
Defend that title.
Defend the title. But as far as me, I'm kind of in a different path of life right now. So I don't know what I'm gonna really be doing with the GS. It's kind of destroyed from Final Bout.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
no shit.
Front bumpers, side skirts, rear bumpers ripped in half. My doors and everything. Fix it. But I'm in a different path of life right now. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm actually working. Do you guys know Eric's Auto Lab? Have you heard of him at all here?
Heard of it?
Oh,
He's actually mentoring me right now. I kind of I never did it, but I'm kind of tired of sitting at the desk. And, with all the mental things that I went through the past couple of years with the kids, I think I needed a change of, I don't know, not a change of pace, but like just a change of life, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Be happy. So he's actually mentoring me, and I'm wrenching right now.
Oh, so is that what you're thinking you want to? Oh, well, is that what you're thinking you want to keep doing in the future? So what does that look like for you?
I don't know.
End goal.
That's a good question. You guys are doing it every day, right?
we're not wrenching any day.
But you guys are knowledgeable. You guys know what you're doing. So I've been talking to a lot of people about how they feel with wrenching on the living. It's a big monetary change. I'm used to corporate pay. It's only been a month actually, and I enjoy going every day so far. And the goal is for him to teach me things that I don't know and maybe get good at things. He really wants to teach me wiring, but where I'm going with this is
Then you can really clean up that engine bay.
Yeah, exactly. But my segue for this is that I don't know how much money I'll have next year because I'll be doing my main priority is going to be the family, and I'll try and do what I can with the car next year. But as long as I get to drive, I'll be happy.
That's fair. I get that. I mean, I work a corporate job and then spend a lot of my free time trying to hang out with Kevin and Gerard so I can feel like I'm around cars. Otherwise, for me, I think if I'm not around cars at some level, I lose a little bit. It's a little bit sad, I feel like, it can be a bit heavy to not have that in your life. So, I mean, good for you for trying that. I always tell people how rad I think it is that Kevin and Gerard have created their existence around them. They've willed something into existence that requires a very long explanation to anybody that I work with. Yeah. But I always think that it's super dope that people, the closer you can be to the thing that you're passionate about is great. That's cool. So you moved out of what did you go to school for again?
I majored in economics. Science of economics is what I majored in.
Good. You can tell me where to invest my money. That's not what that means.
No, I don't know.
Where's the economy going?
It feels like a cop-out degree, but it's a good degree, I guess.
It's fine.
I worked in supply chain for my entire career for the latter part of it as a buyer planner.
Yeah, you were at a fairly techie company before. I remember seeing your Instagram post and I was like, oh.
I was at Dyson for a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah. They're pretty crazy there. It was cool. Definitely cool office. Yeah, I don't know. I want to try something, you know?
Do a different thing. I get that. That's fair. I say this all the time. Spend my spare time trying to do the things that I'm passionate about. So I think it's great that you've made the shift to do the thing.
It would only be possible because of Jen, right? She's the breadwinner right now and has the benefits.
You're gonna have to cut back on those Funko Pops, you know? No, I don't know if you still have those or not.
Yeah. No, she's great, man. She told me to take the time and take the year to kind of figure things out.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That is good.
As supportive as she is already with all the drifting stuff. You guys know how it is, right? Final Bout's been like 10 years long now.
Yeah, and all the time going to the track. Yeah, you guys got to buy the coordinated outfits, which is also very, like there's a lot attached. Like, look, the vibe from afar is great. Like seeing you guys do your things on the internet is amazing. Yeah. But the level of like synchronicity and commitment to it, I get it. It's a lot. Look, my wife and Gerard's wife and Kevin's life partner are never ever getting together in a room to hang out with each other.
It's a lot. It's definitely a lot for sure. My mom came to Final Bout this year.
That's right.
Oh, nice.
Never seen me drive ever.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was cool. And then we had the 2 kids there, which was a lot.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that you put it all together. You bundle it up into a package. It's all tied up, which is really great.
I made sure to rent a nice house to kind of make it kind of feel like a vacation, right?
Yeah.
Hey, how old are your kids?
Liam turns 3 in January, and Karina turns 1 in a couple weeks.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's rough, but
yeah, I bet. I have 1 kid, and I'm good. So you got, man, that's a good gap between them.
No, honestly,
I
love it. It's just hard right now.
Oof. A lot of firsts.
I mean, well, a lot of, and then seconds. How did Liam take to having like the age gap? Must have been weird.
He was okay at first, but now he kind of sees that she needs some attention. So when he wants attention and she's getting a lot of it, he'll kind of come around and like act cute. He's not mean about it or anything, but he'll be like, oh, me too, kind of thing. So it's cute.
Doesn't punch her when you guys turn around.
Kind of like man-on-man defense. While I'm wrenching on the days that Jen has to work during the week, I'll stay home with the kids and watch them for the day. I get the best of both worlds right now.
Yeah, that is good because childcare can be absolutely tricky. Also, good for you for doing like driving while you got 2 kids, under the age of 4. Like,
yeah,
I feel like with my kid, the world didn't even make sense until probably 3-ish or so. That's how I felt.
It's all Jen, man. She's the rock behind it.
Oh, well, that's great to hear. Jen's great.
Yeah.
Love Jen. You think you're going to stop at 2? Is that a weird question to ask someone?
No, not at all. I think so. I think, one-on-one defense right now is pretty good.
Yeah.
I was saying we have a boy and a girl, so I think we're good.
Yeah, you check the boxes.
Yeah.
That is the move. How do you like being a dad? How did you like that transition?
So, I mean, with you guys saw my mental health stuff that arose the first one, but it was hard, man. When my son was first born, I don't know, there was something in me that was like, yo, this dude's gonna die if I don't fucking watch him like every minute, every day, every second. So I didn't sleep, man. I didn't sleep for and I think that's what triggered it. And I had to take meds and see a therapist and stuff like that. So that's why I was really nervous for the second one to come, right?
Yeah.
But no, man, when she came out, just she's alive. She breathing? I think so. Should be all right, It was rough. It was rough in the beginning, but honestly, it's probably the best thing I've ever done with my life.
I always tell Gerard and Kevin that, and people don't agree with what I'm about to say, and that's fine. Having a kid is dope. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Being a parent isn't always the best. Like being the parent.
It fucking sucks sometimes, dude. Like,
yeah.
Me and the guy fucking bump heads all the time. I want to fight him sometimes. and he's only 2. Let's go.
Yeah, because your kid's like a little bit like you, and they know how to like push your buttons. Like, so my kid's super sassy and just is like on it all the time. And then I'm like, if I'm not laughing at it, because I think I'm like, I don't care as long as you're funny, so be funny. She gets that.
Yeah.
So she hits some dingers. But yeah, it is. That was how I always described it. I was like, man, being a parent.
That's actually a really good way of putting it. And like, there's no sugarcoating that shit. Being a parent's fucking hard. And it only gets harder as like older.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game changes too. Yeah, it's a weird. I mean, Jerry, this would be your area of expertise because you got a 10-year-old, and how old is Alice?
8.
You got a 10 and 8.
Just turning 3 next month. So 3, 8, and 10.
Yeah, I'm sure they're.
Yeah, I mean, man, buddy, it's amazing. Alice is a third mom or second. I mean, third parent. Second mom. Yeah, it's like even last night, for example. Like my fault. I forgot to put a diaper on her because we're sort of low on diapers. So like we have these like, like the emergency ones or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was already in her PJs, and I take her pee before bed, but I forgot to put a diaper on her. And then she doesn't always pee at night, but of course the night that I forgot to put a diaper on her, she pees in the bed. Yeah. But Alice took care of the whole thing, middle of the night. And then so all I had to do was change the bedding in the morning, which is like crazy. Like normally it's like 3-4 a.m. you get up, you take the kid out, wash the kid off, change the clothes, change the bedding, put him back to bed, like it's
a whole ordeal.
It's a whole ordeal. So
that's awesome.
She did all that. Yeah, it was nuts. And she's always just super nice, super helpful. So it's kind of hard too, because it's like she's got a lot of like leverage. So when she acts like all fucked up, you're kind of like, I really want to get mad at you, but thanks for taking care of Bella for 2.5 hours the other day.
I should have paid you.
Yeah.
Go out as a right? Like it makes you think different ways and view life differently. It's cool, dude. Funny that you say that. Is we have a local track called Autobahn. It's about like an hour and 15 minutes from us. We went last year. So one of the cool events that we do is Members Day, and they ask us to come out and give ride-alongs to all the people who are members of the track. Mm-hmm. And I take Liam and my dad to this event. And when it came time to change his diaper, I was like, bro, I didn't bring any of your shit. So my dad, I'm like, yo, we gotta load up and go, because you're in the middle of nowhere over there. There's no place to go buy diapers or anything. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go home.
Damn.
I remember one time that happened with June at a restaurant, and so we just like put her in her like swimming bathing suit, like her like swimming diaper. We're like, here you go, you're ready. My cousin was like, my cousin was like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. This is just how it is. So to go back to what you were saying, I had a friend who his whole advice to me is, so he's got 3 kids. The first is the oldest, and then they tried for a second, shut up. All right, I'm gonna edit that out, so I don't care. Laugh all you want. And but they had twins after, is the point. Yeah. And they got 3 girls, and so you're trying for one, and you get twins. I actually have 2 friends that this happened to, but anyway, and it's like. I remember when I was going to have June, and I was like, hey, like, what do I got to know? And he's like, look, you're the dad. For the first 3 months, you're just on suicide watch. So when you said that rings true. Like, it was just like, make sure this kid doesn't kill himself. And like, like that's all you're like, you can change some diapers, but like you're on it. And then it's like, okay, that's what you do. But yeah, I get it, man. Having, I also say like being a dad is a bit weird sometimes, because it's like when the significant other has is pregnant and is doing the thing. Yeah. They have the 9 months run up. Yeah, and your life is kind of just the same. Like you go to classes, but like your body doesn't change. You can still drink, you can still go hang out with the boys or go to the track, but like they're in their mind getting ready. And then one day just snap. You're there and you're in it and you're like, yo, I was awake for this, but like I wasn't ready. And then you gotta like do the thing. Yeah.
You're totally right. They have 9 months to prepare for it.
Yeah.
You have one day.
Yeah, just one day it changes and you're like, okay, I'm on. So you know what though, I think it was great that you did put that out there, because like, you know, not a lot of people, especially from our generation, don't do that.
I actually have a lot of people who reach out to me regularly about stuff like that with being a dad and the stresses.
That's cool, man.
I'm glad I put it out there because it seems like it helped a lot of people, you know?
Yeah.
More people who put it out there, there's more people willing to talk about it, and it becomes less of like a stigma, or you know.
Yeah, it could definitely be a thing where it's like, yo, like you probably thinking like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm not supposed to have these feelings. Like I'm just supposed to like know what to do.
Yeah.
Like my wife's like on my case the whole fucking time, and I feel like I'm not doing the right shit. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot going on.
Which is why I also am really adamant about bringing them to the track too, so I can show people as possible, as long as you have the right mindset, right?
Yeah, and the right team.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's come a few times. I think once or twice to the track with all the kids and stuff. It was pretty cool. But yeah, it's a big fucking ask. My wife took the 2 kids. I think we didn't have Bella back then, but yeah, like stick them in the van, drive for an hour and a half. Like I'm already drifting. She comes out, you know, they're only there for fucking 2 hours. And like, you know, you're not out driving all the time. It's not like that exciting. Like there's a lot of standing around. It's a lot of, you know, it's hurry up and wait kind of shit, right? So it is a big ask.
I was gonna say Final Bout weekend, huge ask, right? You get there Friday morning, you're there all day, Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday.
Yeah. It's like a lot to ask, even just for like a guy friend who's like into cars. Like, you know what I mean? It's like to spend the entire weekend doing drifting things with drift cars and drift people and car talk and car. It's a lot, man. And like for any significant other, you know, probably female for the most part, and to take the family, the kids, and all the like shit associated with that, it's a lot, man.
Yeah. Which is why, like, no disrespect to the significant others who aren't into it, because it's a lot.
Yeah. My wife sorted it out very early on, and she was just like, you go do that, I'll stay home and read or something. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Nicole come out, but then eventually she gets to the point where she's like, I've been to that track, I know what it's like. I maybe don't have to come this time. And I'm like, that's totally fine, you know, like I'm dreading the 7-hour drive I have to do, you know.
You drive very far to a lot of your events. I feel like it's like golfing for us, right?
Yeah, it is. That's a very good analogy. It is like golfing for us. It is exactly that.
They're out for like 8 or 9 hours for the day, right? That's if they're, you know, they're lucky enough to have a golf course that's close to them. We don't really have courses that's always close to us. You guys too, right?
Yeah. But we got a ton of courses. Golf courses.
Oh, no, sorry.
We ain't got tracks.
We don't got racetracks for shit though. Yeah.
Golf courses would be easy. Yeah.
I feel like golf course is easy too, because you just like throw your clubs on a plane and now you're in Hawaii with all your own gear. You know what I mean? Like,
you guys are talking about like having the kid and like tripping out that they're gonna die and stuff. I had a bit of a different mindset, because I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because of the movies I used to watch and shit as like a younger boy. I was like, man, like people like really, really fucked up people have kids. Like really, really shitty people have kids. And like a lot of those kids survive. Like they're probably not doing great. You know, they're not like getting all the stuff they need emotionally, physically, whatever. So like, if I can just not be a piece of shit and like sort of care. And like I've always wanted to be a dad too, so like for me it was like kind of like, all right, let's fucking do this. I'm ready to be a dad, whatever. But like, I was just like, as long as I'm not like a piece of shit, like
even if you're a little bit, it'll be okay.
Exactly. As long as you care more than like, yeah, you know, and I thought it was pretty good, you know, but like, yeah, I was kind of like, there he is. Okay, it's time to be a dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
That's a good point too, though. I thought about that.
I have this.
I think about that all the time.
yeah.
Minimum bar of entry. It's like the barriers of entry, and I'm like, what's the minimum? And then like, and then I'm always like, how do I turn it up just a little so like I look like I'm winning? Oh, you want to be Ahsoka for Halloween? Well, watch out. You know. Anyway.
Yeah. Be careful what you tell me. No, I have this thing that I say lots of times where I'm just like, yo, think of like the average person. The average person. Think how stupid they are. 50% of the people on the earth are stupider than that average person. You know?
Yeah.
More
and they're out there having kids, procreating. Their kids aren't, you know,
You're right.
Yeah.
dying.
Well, that's what I mean. And like you're not doing that bad as long as you can feed the kid, give it a bit of love, and like give it some education.
A bit of love.
Well, you know what I mean. Like some kids don't get any love. I'm not saying like you're good to give it a bit of love.
So just the right amount of love.
I'm just saying, you know, like.
Yeah.
I think that's good insight. And look, you did it, and now we're talking about it, and now people listen to this and be like, maybe I should have a kid.
That's
Recommend highly.
That's how human nature tricks you. Yeah, I could do it, and you get there.
I could do it.
It was fucking hard.
I could drift to GS. I could drift to GS, and then you get it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
What is hard? Maybe it was just raising you for parenthood all along. You know.
Yeah.
You just got to control all these things happening everywhere all the time.
Yeah, like really.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Today was a wild day. We had like a bit of a family night or whatever. We were playing like games and shit, man. I got like my 2-year-old's like, I don't know what the fuck. She's singing like all this shit. She's smashing stuff. We got a puppy now. The puppy's running around eating all this shit. My 2 kids are like playing that. You've probably seen it on Instagram. It's like a Tetris kind of game with a balance thing, and like it knocks over if you imbalance it too much. It's like hilarious. It's a super fun game. We're trying to play that, and man, it was just like, I look at my wife. We're just like, yo, like, what the fuck is even happening right now? It's like literally like as if you turned up all the volume knobs to like 12 and just like put chaos on like 12. Like just like it was fun though. Whatever.
That's what it's like having kids for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My story is a bit different. Chob, when you messaged me, I was at a Christmas concert at a church watching a choir, and I was like trying to like text you, and my wife was looking over. I'm like, oh, I'll send you the link, but like there's some choir singing. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, hey, you didn't know, and I was like, it's very important that I answer this man right now. This choir can wait. And aside from that, an old man's phone went off twice at the concert, and eventually the guy, the director, the maestro, was like, turn off your phone, and everyone applauded. I felt so bad for the old man. He was so embarrassed. Anyway, well, this is great.
His kid just called him, like not knowing that he was at this thing, and then like he didn't answer, so the kid immediately calls back, like, oh my God, my dad's dying.
Yeah, because that guy was old enough, and I got in the car with my parents and my kid and my wife, and I was like, the thing is like people our age don't really turn their ringers on. It's old people that turn their ringers on and crank them all the way up, and then don't know how to turn them down.
Turn them off.
And so,
exactly.
And then someone's calling them twice during this hour and 15-minute performance.
Because also the only call I would get would be a spam call. Someone would just text me.
Yeah. What the
just wait for the vibrate.
Yeah. But he didn't know how to do that. And then his wife was mad at it. I felt so bad for the guy. I was like, he doesn't know. And everyone applauded when the guy was like, turn your ringer off. And like,
I kind of also get it. It's like this dude's phone ringing is like ruining your experience, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the guy said, turn your phone off twice. But
he did?
Nobody. At the beginning, he's like, good time. But that guy doesn't know how to. I looked at that guy and I was like, the way that guy knows how to put his phone on silent, that might as well be a jigsaw.
She'd have a phone.
Oh, that's not how it works,
like,
Jerry.
You wouldn't say that to your mom. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd say I get into pretty big fights with my mom about her phone.
I know you do, but like she still has one for like so that you can check on her and know that she's safe. You know,
and so she can post a bunch of shit on Facebook. It's pretty funny.
It always makes me wonder, like, what is gonna come our way. But like, we're gonna be like that.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna be like that about? Yeah.
Right? What is it gonna be?
AI.
Like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, you don't know how to do this. We're like, man, I don't need that shit.
I don't need
that AI
hologram,
robot telling me how to like, do that.
AI. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry and Dominic are gonna have the best like back and forths. I feel like. Because eventually Dominic will be the one that's in control of you. He's like, listen, Dad, I'm in control now.
Yeah, I'm the captain now.
Why don't you know how VR works? You know, it'll be something weird and you'll be like very upset about it, Jerry.
The funny thing is we took him for VR and I was the one that took him to VR racing.
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, I'm just saying he's 10. Eventually he'll be 35 and you'll be
Catherine didn't take him to VR drift racing?
No,
I really would think that of the two of you, Catherine would be the one who would take him to VR drift racing.
Yeah. Hey, Chob, what are you dailying right now?
Yeah, what's the fleet? How many whips you got in the garage?
So I guess as a family we have 6 cars. Wow. I think. I try and daily the M3 as much as I can.
An M3, you say? What brand is that? What's an M3, Chob?
It is a BMW.
Oh my God! Better watch out. Ryan's gonna lose his shit. You can see the steam coming out of his head right now.
He's already editing you out.
So why do you have a BMW, Chob? Why the fuck would you have a BMW? Ew.
I'm uninvited from this podcast. They are gonna.
That's not true because you got an in. You got an in right here with the BMWs. Anyways,
you got a friend in old Jerry D.
Yeah, so I got E90 M3 that I try and daily as much as I can.
So why don't you drift that thing?
I do sometimes. It's fun.
Yeah, no doubt.
I had that van that you guys saw. Do you remember the one I lowered?
Yeah, the Sienna, old school Sienna.
Yeah.
Not old, but like the last gen. Yeah.
Yeah. So I drive that.
You still have that, or you got rid of that?
No, I still got it. It's got the winter tires on there right now.
Yeah.
I have a truck so my parents live with us for part of the year.
Yeah.
So my dad is using the lowered Frontier that I have. I want the winter caps.
Yeah.
And what else do we have? The GS. Oh, and then Jen drives the Durango that I use.
Right. Oh, cool. That's like a normal stock new vehicle. Yeah. So my wife has a 2019 Odyssey, so same,
Yeah.
They got to get the nice shit,
Yeah. She's got to have the nice stuff. I thought about it today. Like, none of our cars get good gas mileage.
You got rid of that C-Class or whatever?
Oh, no. I sold that for the C-Class. That was cool because I drifted that around in the wintertime.
Yeah.
I got rid of that for the TSX. And then I sold the TSX to paint the GS and do the wheels and stuff. Oh, I had a bike at one point. I had a Harley that I sold.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Was that a wife? Was the wife influence that sale?
No.
Oh, yeah, you ride that thing around with no helmet on because it's Illinois and there's no helmet laws.
Yeah, there is no helmet laws. It's just glasses law.
Glasses?
No.
Gotta protect those eyes, buddy.
Yep, right here. That's all I got. I would just wear my glasses sometimes, not even sunglasses or anything. No, there was one year I rode it like 3 times and I had some money into it. I was like, let's use this money for something else.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fair.
I had cruise control. That was cool.
That's pretty wild. Cruise control.
That's hilarious. Is that just not like a locking throttle then?
No, it's like a button that you set. You can even go up and down on whatever speed you want.
No, oh, that's so crazy, bro.
I would just sit back like this sometimes, just ride. Plus the kid was coming. I was like, I should probably get rid of this thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Motorcycles are dangerous.
Yeah, especially out here where no one rides. In the West Coast where everyone's riding, right? Over here, you only see.
I mean, I saw a lot of motorcycles when I was out there, but they're all ridden by crazy dudes.
Yeah. There's a big community for sure.
Okay, the BMW. Jerry wants to talk about a BMW. That's on his list.
Yeah.
Jerry, you take this part. You take the reins. Ask questions about BMWs.
What made you buy an M3? What made you buy a BMW M3?
I think it was always one of those grill cars that I wanted. But I don't know. I always thought it was a cool car. I wanted to buy it a long time ago, but you know how it is, man. It's expensive to maintain.
Yeah.
So
It's expensive to. Well, they're not that expensive to buy, but they're still not.
No.
They're not cheap.
yeah,
Like,
I think I got
a lot of money for a car that you're kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I spent it. Yeah, you're right. I did spend a good amount back then to get it, and it's an 08.
Yeah. And then did you do any maintenance or anything on it, or you all that
just
like?
the rod bearing so far.
Oh, you did the rod bearings. Cool.
Yeah.
Just the rod bearings.
Common thing on those.
That's
Like, you have to pull the motor, or like can you just take the pan off and
No.
You could just pull the subframe and then
yeah.
I didn't do
It's basically like doing an oil pan gasket, basically.
Yeah. Oh well. Plus all the torquing and the.
1,000 miles, Kevin. You gotta do rod bearings.
So do you put like Kings in or something? Like you.
Fuck BMW.
Yeah, there's a kit that you could buy. Yeah, isn't that funny? Make sure every 70,000 miles, change the rod bearings.
That's so
Jesus.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, some of them, dude, they got a not this particular engine, but some of the other ones, Kevin, it's a crank hub, so it's not keyed to the crank.
Yeah.
In typical German fashion.
And it spins?
It spins, fucks up the chain, does a bunch of shit.
And it's not an easy.
Oh, I think I've seen that where they sell like a keyway kit to like grind in.
Crank.
Yeah, drill it in, and
Yep.
There are guys who machine solid pieces now too.
It's pretty crazy. There's a bunch of shit, but yeah. So how do you like driving that thing? How's it?
But I mean, it's the best. It's the best BMW motor there is.
Honestly, it reminds me of the Type R a little bit because it revs. I got a little bit of refinement to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have an exhaust on it? You have a little bit of an exhaust on it, don't you?
Yeah, I have a little bit. Yeah, I got it from Fish, which is you guys know Risky Devil Fish, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that guy is one of the
Selector.
people you'll ever meet. He had a car, an M3 that came in on a trade, and he's like, "Hey, you still have your stock exhaust? I'll give you this aftermarket exhaust for free if you give me your stock one." So, yeah.
Yeah, because he just wanted it to be stock, right?
Yeah.
That's sick.
So I got an exhaust. I'm thinking about making it a little louder. Yeah, I
move headers. It has cats on it still, though, right?
I have 2 cats. I got rid of 2. So there's 4.
And then what exhaust do you have? Eisenman, Whitec? Or?
No, it's actually called Agency Power, I think.
Oh, I know Agency Power, yeah.
Well, it sounds good. It actually sounds like if, you were to go to England and drink a cup or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a gentleman's sound.
Yeah.
It's not like a fuckboy, like, yo, I just bought a Beamer, bro. Like, like especially those cars, man, they get real fucking loud. Like, loud.
Yeah. So I'm trying to make it a little bit louder, but not too loud.
Like, you're not putting headers on that thing.
Yeah, right. American Racing Headers makes headers.
Yeah.
No,
I think those are probably the nicest ones too, honestly.
Yeah.
One of the nicest ones anyways. Because it's funny, American Racing is such a stupid name that you think it's super shitty, but it's actually like really high-end stuff.
Yeah.
American Racing, like headers for like the LS, like the Vets and stuff, they're like $3,000 and like super nice. And they give you like, I don't know, like 37 horsepower at the wheels, and it's insane. Like,
yeah. And they're really nice long tube headers. Like just the quality of it is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe just do that. I have some coilovers for it. I want to get wheels. Got the nice red interior.
Yeah, I know you do. You got like the good spec.
Yeah.
So and yours is stick. Yours is a 6-speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wouldn't be too. I wouldn't mind having a non-stick, but I mean those are DCT cars, so like
that's cool too.
Like you might even have some issues with the DCTs versus the manual.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a double-edged sword,
That's a good time. I have to remember that it's not a drift car. What was I doing the other day? It rained hard the other day, and I did one of those, first through third, just spin the tires all the way.
Yeah.
Sitting on the limiter in the Aristo, and I accidentally did it. I don't know. I just feel like it maybe I won't be able to take it, but I have to remember it's not one of those cars sometimes.
Yeah, remember it's not a Toyota. That's what is important here today.
Yeah.
I just want to add, as a side, I saw Kevin's 3GS the other day, and it blew my mind.
What?
Kevin got a 3GS, like a GS4.
Like the next generation after yours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right-hand drive. And he came and picked me up, and I was like, yo, this thing's fucking sick. But I don't know any better. So, like.
You should just buy one, Ryan. That should be your car. You can drive it all the time.
Yeah, well, I got a Prius. I mean, we've talked about it. I'd probably get an ISF if I was to get another thing. A Japanese ISF.
A straight contender for the M3.
Yeah. We've got a whole thing about it.
Contender, so.
But we ain't there, you know? I got other things going on in my life. As I feel Chob's whole, like, maybe you got to focus on life sometime. You know?
I mean,
no, my hand was forced. That's the only reason I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Living ain't cheap. That's all there is to it. Yeah. So would you ever move into a BMW as a drift chassis? Would you be like, hey,
I don't think so.
Push come. Yeah, that's the right answer. Get out of here, Jared.
No disrespect to anybody who drifts BMWs, but it doesn't do it for me. They don't feel the same or look the same.
Actually, here's a fun question, because I feel like we're all a little bit cut from the same cloth a little bit.
Mm-hmm. We're a little bit cut, all right.
We're a little bit cut. Chob, what do you look for in a car when it comes to drifting? Like, what are the things? What are the check boxes for you?
Check boxes. Let's see. Execution. I think execution would be the number one box, right? You can have all the good parts, but if you don't execute properly, it doesn't come together properly. That and sound. The sound that the motor makes. I think that's a huge thing too, right? What do you call it? Sound aesthetics?
Harmonics.
Yeah.
Helps if Yamaha helped design the engine, you know? Hey.
Yeah.
Alex and I were having not really a debate. We both totally agreed that the N54 actually sounds better than probably both JZs.
Hey, like, what Alex are you fucking talking about right
Alex
now?
Lee. Alex Lee.
Okay, well, nobody else knows who you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Alex Lee and I, we always talk about that type of stuff. So we send videos back and forth of all these, you know.
Yeah.
Like, man, there's this one, single turbo N54.
They sound good.
They sound amazing. Yeah. They sound just, they have that little bit of RB sort of like urgency in the growl that, like, I don't know, JZ's like it. The only cars that actually have them are just like lightly tuned street cars with that small diameter exhaust. They just sound the best. And it's like once you put all that like extra shit on them, they just sound cleaner and cleaner. Like even the pro level cars, they just sound like power units, you know, like nice, beautiful sounding high power machines.
Yeah. So, I think I had this same comment as that RB sounds better than JC.
Yeah. So, but yeah, anyways, our JZs do sound good. So your car sounds sick. Your car sounds really sick with all that, whatever the new shit you did sounds bad.
The idiot shit that I did. Yeah. I routed the exhaust through the trunk.
The trunk exhaust.
Oh, yeah. That's right. But I mean, I think that it's like, wasn't it something to do with the manifold and the turbo and the tune or something you changed and it already sounded good? It just sounded slightly different with the trunk exhaust.
Yeah. It's the future fab manifold that made a change.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, I know it's getting late for you, Chob, and I don't want to keep you up. Is there anything that you want to chat about? Anything you feel like you want? Any sponsors or people you want to shout out? You can shout out Ilya.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ilya because you forgot to mention that he was.
Yeah. Shout out Team Proceed, right? Shout out Club FR, Final Bout, my wife, 100%, my family. And shout out to you guys, SerialNINE, man. Like, there's a lot of the things that the car wouldn't do today. And, our friendships, like.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's sick, man.
I'm not SerialNINE at all, but I'm glad that you're in my life, Chob.
Same shit. Your Instagram's changing to Ryan SerialNINE pretty soon here, so
that'll be just as confusing. So Chob, full disclosure, I made a video that for this influencer in Vancouver, and they were like, "What's your Instagram handle?" And I was like, and I was like so embarrassed to say Dodo Ryan B, because yeah, I was just like, God damn it, I should change it. And then Kevin and Gerard were like, you should change it to Ryan at Ryan SerialNine. I'm like, that doesn't make it any easier. Nothing. I should just be like Ryan Benoit or something. But
yeah, no,
fucking
cool.
old.
Benoit's good too.
Old habits die hard. I think there's a UFC fighter named Ryan Benoit, or there was. So
that would be even better, bro.
There's a wrestler named Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit.
Oh yeah, that didn't end well. So we're not, we can't.
He was Canadian.
He did the Canadian Crippler.
Yeah.
He did a lot. He did a lot of things that we shouldn't talk about.
Thank you guys. You guys paved the way for a lot of sedan shit and made it affordable and accessible to be able to do the sedan stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. Thank you. That's it's nice to hear like from our customers and whatever customer base, and we've been doing this for like a long time, and it's kind of like it's nice to hear that it's actually made some sort of impact in the car world.
Huge impact. Everybody I know, like every time parts or questions comes up, SerialNine's always on the top of the list for parts to get. What made your car better? SerialNine.
That's cool.
Been around since long days, right?
Yeah, definitely Toyotas are coming up though. Like there's like a lot of IS is showing up. Even when we were at Final Bout West there, definitely like a lot more IS is showing up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Definitely seems like ISs are becoming very, very common.
And I mean, everyone that wanted 100 or 90 or whatever, like those are huge now too. So it's like, luckily we've been in that game before anybody else. So I think there's still like a little bit of that sort of like grandfather knowledge. I
feel like the new one that may come up once people really realize. Well, I mean, we realize, right? But the car has that crown right now, and that thing is awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be very sick.
Which makes me sad.
Good.
I saw the U.S. crown today, and it was terrible.
Yeah, do you guys have that thing now?
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah.
Man.
I thought it was like I don't know, like a Sentra or something.
It looks like
we were talking about it in one of the other episodes for like, it's like, it could be cool. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like,
I've seen one in Vancouver, and I was like, yo, is that a crown?
We have one too? Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, we've had them for months.
I saw.
I've never seen one.
It's just because nobody buys them. Nobody is nobody's going to buy that
$60,000 jelly bean.
Weird ass car that nobody knows.
Yeah. But
I will say this: the 1998 GS 400 300 in stock form looks like a jelly bean on stilts.
It's pretty terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah, it looks like a weird dung beetle or something. Like it's just so high and so round, sitting on the tiniest little wheels. Yeah.
What's that one meme? I think it's from Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch. Yeah.
It looks like the guy who made
C-pillar window, the like C-pillar loop window to me. That's the worst styling aspect of that car.
Dude,
the rest of it I can get down with. But
my new car has that. Every Toyota has
literally, that's the first thing Gerard said to me when he met me.
Oh yeah.
When Gerard and I met, he saw my car and he started talking about the back window on it, and he was like, and I'm like, yo, this guy is weird, but I like it. Now he just sends me weird fucking videos every once in a while about dolls and shit. Okay.
BMW videos.
He doesn't even send me those. Gerard's thing is he finds the weirdest video on his feed and he sends it to me. And then I wake up in the morning and be like, Gerard message. And it's like a dude cutting up skeletons and feeding it to birds. And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
I always know you're get the weird shit.
Yeah, that's how, Gerard loves to fuck with me. All right. Hey, Chob, I really appreciate that you came and hang out with us. That's great. Loved it. I'm very happy that you and Gerard got together and I got to listen to you both kind of talk about, the 16, and we talked about all the other stuff, but it's really great. Full honesty, you two were both like big influences and reasons why I still very much love the chassis, even though Jerry fucking hates the chassis now. But yeah, so it was great to have you on the podcast.
Dude, thank you guys. I was surprised when Gerard texted me and said, "Hey man, what's up?" I'm like, I don't know, man. What's up? How you doing, right? But seriously, thank you for inviting me to come on here. I listen to you guys all the time, and I'm honored to be on here.
Hey, I'm just glad to hang out with you whenever I can. So, right on.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, and hopefully we can see each other. Hopefully we can see each other in the flesh this year.
Yes. Yeah. We'll get some good food.
And we'll get some good food and some drifting in together. I want to drive with you. Unfortunately, I won't have the same car anymore, but it'll still be a big Toyota. So
it'll be good. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. Got the same heart. All right. Well, with that, thanks for everyone who's tuned in to listen. Again, thanks to Chob for hanging out with us. And check out SerialNine.com for
ask
any
us
parts
some questions.
That we've talked about.
Any questions? You got questions for Chob? Ask Ryan, and we'll get the answer on the podcast.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate everybody. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Serial Podcast 9.